Raffle tickets, get your raffle tickets. Come on over. Raffle tickets, come get your raffle tickets.
Good day, mates. My sergeant at arms just told me it's 12:15 and it's time to start. Chop chop, he says. I was having such a good conversation with our speaker today that I lost track of time. Now, I have to let you all know, silence please, while I announce that I've just been put on a new medication, which means I may be irritable. All right? It says on the, in big letters, you may get irritable. So, be forewarned, nobody cross my path today. Anyway, welcome everybody. It's time to have the pledge and song, and it's our good friend Steve Ochoa. There you are, Steve, down on the, there you go, wave at us. Steve is going to lead us.
Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I'd like to introduce Dan, who's going to sing the Star Spangled Banner.
All right, are you guys ready? We'll give it a try. So proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. And by the way, Margaret, I always thought you were on that medicine before today.
Ooh, I say. Good on you. All right, inspiration time, and we have Jeff Ronstadt, who's been with us since 2006, almost as long as I have been.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Let us be thankful for the power unlocked by the brain decoding symbols. The ability to read gives the ability to advance beyond poverty, to learn what those near you do not know, to discover ideas that may be hidden, to unleash your potential. Let us be thankful for the literacy endeavors of Rotary, for changing the world one decoded alphabet at a time. Let us be thankful for our ability to read and commit to embracing literacy initiatives. Let us provide that ability to change the world. There you go.
That was absolutely perfect. Being a person that absolutely loves reading, I go along with that inspiration. Fabulous. Oh, it's him again. It's him again. Sorry, he's going to make me angry. But anyway, it's introduction of guests.
Oh, wait, I don't get a hug this time?
All right.
All right. Welcome, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the monsoons this last week. Anybody been through a monsoon this last week? Anybody had damage from a monsoon this last week? So my neighbor's roof is sitting in his front yard. It's very exciting. So welcome, everybody, to Rotary. To those at home, I welcome you. I'd like to introduce all the guests. Guest from the Rotary Club of Idlewild, John Graham. John, where are you? John? We have the Assistant District Governor, Ann Huber. Ann? All right. Guest of Monty Clausen, Joni Clausen. Joni? Guest of Jeannie Zita, Canon Nakamura. Canon? Guest of Jeannie Zita, Jim Bushnell. Jim? Guest of Jeannie Zita, Andy Voss. And one more, guest of Jeannie Zita, Susie Voss. Guest of Mitch Piesick, Margaret Mullen. Margaret? And I believe that is the guest for the day. Welcome all.
Thank you very much for that, Dan. And it's nice to know there are other Margarets around here. So hi, Margaret. Thank you. John Graham from Idlewild, are you here? No, didn't show up. Oh, okay. We were going to have a banner exchange, but we'll pass it on that one. And so we'll go straight to our program. And I'm going to have Michael Guyman, who's been with us since 2022. Are you sure that's all? Oh, it seems like I've known you longer than that. He's with the Chamber of Commerce. So Michael, please come up and introduce our speaker.
Thank you, President Margaret. As Brittany did last week, very, very proud to not only introduce our speaker today, but to be a member of the program committee. And as Pat, the chair of our program committee, likes to say, we are kicking butt this year. We are going to have, and sorry for the language, a kick butt, or whatever pejorative you want to put in there, program this year. So very happy to be a part of the program committee, and we're putting together what we think is going to be a very impactful list of speakers for you this year. So to all the wonderful members of the program committee. So I do have the honor of introducing someone I've really gotten to know a bit, just a wonderful member of the community. Chad Herzog is joined Arizona. I speak directly in, and it's still cutting off. Joining the U of A as Executive Director of Arizona Arts Live in August 2029. Sorry, 2029. August 2019. Are you just randomly clapping, Jeff? No, not done. At Arizona Arts Live, Chad oversees all aspects of the program, including providing creative vision for the organization and curating program for the annual season, which he's going to talk a lot about, and providing programming with the extended university community. Previously, Chad served as artistic director and co-director for the International Festival of Arts and Ideas in New Haven, Connecticut, where he was responsible for providing all artistic vision for the festival while conceiving, developing, and implementing artistic and humanities events. And Bruce has a new microphone. Check 1, 2. Thank you, Bruce. Always glad that we're taking care of this before the speaker is speaking. Anyway, so fantastic introduce Chad. One thing you may not know about him, I certainly did not. He won the national mascotting competition when he was in high school. Everyone give a warm Rotary welcome to Chad Herzog.
Well, I've already learned that this is going to be a tough crowd, Jeff. If we're worried about kick butt as being a word that I have to stay away from, I'm glad you're all sitting down. Good afternoon. It's really great to be with you all today. Thank you for inviting me to speak here. I'm really excited to share Arizona Arts Live with you, especially and during a month that is important to me and my Tucson experience, because it was 4 years ago this month that my wife Michelle and I arrived from the East Coast to Tucson. And as I was sharing, never did we understand or imagine that we could fall in love with a place as hard and fast as we did with Southern Arizona. So really glad to be here. I will say that it's not my first time in Tucson. My first time in Tucson, whoops, one back, there we go. First time in Tucson is right here. I'm the cowboy, not the clown. This was at Old Tucson. And my parents brought me here because I was growing up in North Phoenix. So Tucson wasn't very new to me coming here. What I was surprised, though, is how much Tucson had changed, because it had been since really the mid-'90s that I was here last, and the city had changed a lot. This is me in the center over the drums. I was a drummer for a second with my middle school jazz band. We played on the Centennial Hall stage. I was glad to see how much Tucson had changed. Sorry to see that Centennial had not changed at all, but we're working on that. As Michael mentioned, I'm an arts maker, I'm a community builder, and my work is really using the arts from around the world to enhance and build communities. And I'm just going to go through a bunch of photos with you real quick. This is an Indonesian company called Paper Moon Theater when they made their first trip to the US working with kids. We have my work here with the I don't know why we're skipping so fast. My work here with the International Festival of Arts and Ideas. I was an international festival maker, making work in not only New Haven, Connecticut, but the UK, New Zealand, and parts of South Africa. And then I was able to get to the University of Arizona. And I was hired here to be the executive director of what was then UA Presents. So you may remember UA Presents quite well. UA Presents had been around for 25 years when I was brought to the university in Southern Arizona. And really what I was challenged with was how we could reimagine what UA Presents could be in our community and within the broader community of Southern Arizona. With that work, Arizona Arts Live was born. Our work is to present art to our community on a global stage and build Tucson as an arts destination. And we do that with our partners throughout the community. One of those who obviously is sitting at the on stage with us, Chris Dodge, and the Tucson Jazz Festival. The goal and our purpose of Arizona Arts Live, and I'm flying through this stuff because I was told I only have 20 minutes and then I get that hook coming at me. So we're going to fly quickly, right? But our purpose is to inspire creativity, enrich the culture of our community, and elevate our place in the world. And that aligns very closely with the really purpose of the university, working together to expand human potential, explore new horizons, and enrich life for all, which when I was reading the Rotary mission and vision statements, not far off from any of that too. We still create work in Centennial Hall, and we do all of this by investing in our community and the people. And rather than expecting people to meet us in our temples like Centennial and engage within our rituals, we have really looked at Southern Arizona now being our stage. So less tying ourselves into what's happening in Centennial Hall, but more to our region itself. While Centennial Hall will continue to be a main stage of ours, really shifting our work to be out and being invited into communities like yours. That means we focus on bringing art to Tucson. We now find ourselves partnering with the amazing arts organizations like the Tucson Jazz Festival, like the Rialto Theater, Hotel Congress, the Tucson Symphony Orchestra, to support the work that they're all doing without trying to replicate or duplicate their work. And that's something that's a little different than I think what we were seeing with UA Presents in the past. We bring live performances from around the world to Tucson while taking Tucson to the world. We have refocused our work to target the entire Tucson community and not just those that are visiting us during parts of the year. And what we've seen is that our audiences have gotten much younger. So in 2018, 2019, audiences of UA Presents then averaged around 75 to 85 years old. Today, we're looking at 35 to 50 years old. And we know that in order to have art and culture organizations in the future, we need to be getting a little younger. Part of that is because of the work we're doing at the university. Not only does the University of Arizona train the next doctors and lawyers and business people, but really it's our job to train the next culture goers. And that's what we see ourselves on campus, not just in the community, doing. We do all this because we invite the community to experience unexpected. Southern Arizona grows stronger when we cultivate spaces that welcome people from all backgrounds to gather to share extraordinary and unexpected experiences. Arizona Arts Live curates these experiences. This is a piece called Monuments, and Monuments was the first thing we did as Arizona Arts Live in October of 2020. I can't say that I recommend rebranding an organization, especially an arts organization, that its job is to bring people together during a global pandemic. But we did. In that first year, we were mentioned 3 times in the New York Times for the work that we were doing, twice on NPR. In fact, we sold out a performance that we had commissioned because it was featured on NPR's Sunday Morning Edition, and it sold out by time zone, which was really fascinating. So when the piece aired on the East Coast, we started seeing tickets going, and by the time the piece aired here on Arizona Public Media, we had already sold out the week of performances. First time in my career that I'd ever seen anything like that. So this is Monuments, that first piece that we did where we, while our country was tearing down monuments, we actually built 3 new ones, projecting faces of Tucson unsung heroes into the trees of the campus arboretum. We created a program called the Tucson Studio, where we were working with regional artists to make sure that they were able to survive during a time of closure. We commissioned new muralists to create and paint their Tucson Renaissance-inspired murals around the community. We worked with area restaurants. This is a program that we created called In the Kitchen, where restaurants were able to, before restaurants were open, were able to sell and share food with our community as we then shared videos of the chefs creating these meals, again, inspired by the community that we all live in. We were the only arts organization to present live performances throughout 2020 to really 2021, 22 in the community. This was at the MSA Annex when we were told we could only have 90 people join us outdoors. We put a vertical dance company on the side of the Optical Science building on the University Mall. This is, if you remember being inoculated in the drive-through, you could watch dance being created on the side of the mall. And in the fall of 21, we started bringing, and we were able to bring more companies in from around the world. This was actually Las Cafeteras doing pop-up concerts. This one happens to be at La Estrella, all around our community, knowing that we couldn't bring people to us in Centennial, but we could be invited into communities around. We had pickup truck concerts where we would pull up in front of people's houses with music happening. And then we created experience like Mi Casa, Your Casa 2.0. If you heard about the swings that were on campus, that was happening with us. All at the same time working with our partners, like the Jazz Festival to bring artists that you all know, John Batiste. Pop-up installations continued, and we then brought the National Theatre of Scotland in last year for a sold-out run of The Strange Undoing of Perencia Hart. And I'm just going over all of this history so you get a sense of what it is that Arizona Arts Live does. A company from Belgium in this piece called Dimanche, both of these sold out to the sold-out performance of Robert Plant and Alison Krauss in June. And I say all that quickly because what I really want to do today is introduce you to our 23-24 year of programming. And while I'm not asking you to sign an NDA, you are only the second group of people outside of our board that last night got to see the entire list of programming. So I'm sharing this with you now because next Tuesday we will go live and share it with the world. It's next Tuesday that you can go and buy your tickets for all of this. Though if you're really excited about buying tickets, head on over to the website now and buy your Tucson Jazz Festival and Arizona Arts Live tickets because you can do that today. Chris, I'm trying. The first thing we're doing is again partnering with Hotel Congress to present the 10th annual HOCO Festival. That happens September 1st through 4th. 60 Arizona artists performing on stage over the 4 days. Looking forward to seeing you there. We then will be welcoming Calexico to town, working with the Tucson Symphony Orchestra and Arizona Athletics to bring Calexico for a free concert on the University Mall. This will be announced next week, too, for the first football game against NAU. Also for free on September 9th, if you don't want to go see Michael dance, you can come see these amazing circus acrobats from France. I'm going to set this video up with a little bit of story so you know the narrative, and then play a video for you. These circus acrobats are coming to us. They are playing the role of musicians escaping from an insane asylum. For those of us who know musicians, that's not too far off. They escape by hot air balloon.
Electrocuted of flow. That's all a joke and masquerade and river where we play. An adventure, a tale to tell. Come back with us into the race. But where's the truth, the way back home? Run, 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 run. I will climb every wall. If you got a gun, 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 gun. I'll escape faster than that. I'll escape faster than that.
That is Exit. Thanks. This will be its U.S. debut, coming to Tucson, and one night only, September 9th, free on the University Mall. Bring your chairs, come sit, and just have your mind blown. We then are bringing in a great artist, Michael Moenzo, doing ancestral communal listening gatherings. Moenzo comes to us as a pretty renowned jazz player, and this is EDI training at its finest, because you don't understand that that's actually what's happening. You're listening to music, you're sharing your stories with music, and you break it down, and then you just get slapped around a little bit because you didn't really know that Aretha was singing about that. And we have 20 of these sessions happening around Tucson. If this is something that you'd be interested in hosting, and I could share a lot more with you, hosting with your business or a community partner, we'd love to bring one of these sessions to you. You saw a lot about the swings and the seesaws before. Our third iteration of this is from the same firm that brought the swings to us, Los Trompos. It's spinning tops. They'll be up from the end of September through November to play. We then are bringing Stern. Nano is a Chilean folk musician. He is producing a new film called We'll Be Singing by September. This concert will happen at Hotel Congress, and it's singing the music of 50 years post-revolution of Chile. We mentioned Las Cafeteras in the past. This is their Hasta la Muerte program. We'll be presenting this at Kennedy Park in South Tucson. Really excited to see what's happening at Kennedy Park right now and being able to share work at Kennedy. It's the Chicano version of the Day of the Dead. Just a few days later, Manual Cinema, an artist that we commissioned during the pandemic to create a Christmas story, has a piece called Frankenstein. And when we talk about Manual Cinema, we talk about really breaking down that name. You'll see in the video I'm about to share that using overhead projectors, some shadow puppetry, and others is how they're able to tell their story. Frankenstein will be happening in Centennial Hall. Prior to seeing Frankenstein, we invite audience members to join us in costume for some trick-or-treating and some other fun. Just a few days after that, we're very excited to be welcoming Little Amal to Southern Arizona. Little Amal is a 10-year-old, 12-foot puppet of a Syrian refugee. Little Amal, and I'm going to try to play this video. I think I can play it without hearing anything great. This gives you an idea of scale and what Little Amal is doing. She'll be walking across the United States starting this fall, starting in Boston, making her way across the country. When she gets to Arizona on October 27th, she'll be in Nogales, and then coming up to Tucson, and where she'll start her morning off with the sunrise ceremony on Tumamoc Hill. From Tumamoc, we'll go to Galleria Mitotera in South Tucson. From there, we'll end up at the Children's Museum, and then Amal will find her way to the University of Arizona for tailgating and to welcome Osiris Rex back to the community. It's a really special piece. We're excited to have Amal in Tucson, one of 35 places around the country that gets to welcome Amal to our communities, and there are many opportunities for us all to engage with her while she's with us. That same day, we have David Cross at the Rialto, comedian, so lighten things up a little bit. And then the following week, we have Parsons Dance coming. Something that's fun about Parsons Dance is that if you look at this photo, the first woman you see in the photo in the forefront is a graduate of the University of Arizona School of Dance. The man right behind her on the right is also a graduate of the school. So 2 of the 8 dancers are members of the Tucson community. The other thing that's really exciting about Parsons is back in 1990, if those of you who were in Tucson then remember, there was a festival called Festival of the Sun. Do any of you remember that? No. One person, thanks. Thanks, Chris. That's why he's sitting up here. Festival of the Sun was something that happened for a few years here in Tucson. One of the things that came out of that festival was a commission to Parsons Dance to create a piece of dance. It happens to be the most danced piece of rep that the company has ever done. So they'll be doing that again here in Tucson after, 33 years hiatus. We're partnering with 10 West. The 10 West X events are all being brought to you by Arizona Arts Live. And then we finally get to the winter months with the Tucson Jazz Festival. And our first performance doing together, bringing Artero to stage at the Rialto. We bring Lewis Nash and Emmett Cohen to stage a couple days later. And then Cecile to Centennial Hall. So those 3 performances, we're really excited to be partnering with the Jazz Festival. Welcoming a company that has been to Tucson a number of times, celebrating their 50th year as a string quartet is the Kronos Quartet. This is their last tour, so they will be hanging it up after 5 decades of making music together. They'll be with us in Centennial Hall on February 22nd. Arizona Arts Live has commissioned pieces for their 5 decades tour, and you'll get to hear some of that here in Tucson and never hear it again unless you buy the album. We're also I'm proud to commission the Mark Morris Dance Group and their Look of Love program. This is the music of Burt Bacharach. It was the last piece that Burt worked on before dying last year. So Mark Morris talks about Burt giving him notes at the dress rehearsal before the performance in LA. And it wasn't just a couple notes, it was a binder of notes. Bruce? Thanks. So Percussion will be joining us at the end of March with Caroline Shaw. Caroline Shaw is a Pulitzer Prize-winning composer, multiple Grammy winner. The quartet has won Grammys as well, making music together. And I have a little video to share with you. Oops. Bruce?
So fades the lovely blooming flower, frail solace of an hour. So soon our transient comforts fly, and pleasure.
Bruce will move on now because I have 3 minutes. So we're going to keep on moving through this. Urban Bushwomen will be joining us again. This is the first time that they've been to campus since I think 2002, or been to Tucson since 2002, getting ready to celebrate 35 years of making dance together. And we end the year of programming that we're sharing with you today with a company from the Netherlands and their piece called Bedtime Stories. This will happen in Flandro Science Center, where you'll get to look up at the stars while hearing some of your favorite bedtime stories being told by one person,
dark and lonesome night.
cueing all of the sound
no longer
and changing all of his voices.
I am not. I know it's only natural to get cold feet at such a significant moment in your life, and I wasn't new to the feeling, but somehow it felt as if there was something more at stake.
Who are you talking to, Dad?
Lily? Lily, where are you? Lily, show yourself! It was a dark and lonesome night.
I don't get it.
That's okay, Lily, you don't have to.
But when you say I'm no longer me, then who are you?
Hey, guys, I think I see something over there. Look at the fucking raccoon. God, I hate raccoons.
What the fuck, Grandpa? What the actual fuck? Is this your idea of storytelling? You can't get away with, and then everyone died. It doesn't work like that. Not anymore.
That is Bedtime Stories. Tickets for all of our experiences start at just $10. There are opportunities to collaborate with us, and I think something that's very different that we haven't talked about is that artists today that come to Arizona Arts Live and to Southern Arizona are no longer getting off their bus and walking onto stage and then getting back on their bus, but really spending time with us. I think the shortest amount of time we have any artist with us is 3 days now, doing work within our community, not just at the university, from our schools in town to community organizations, really trying to bring some energy to our community as we talk about bringing artists from around the world to Southern Arizona and taking Southern Arizona to the world. Thank you so much for having me today. As I mentioned, tickets go on sale next Tuesday. We look forward to discovering extraordinary live experiences with you. Thanks.
Do we have any questions from the audience?
We're going to wait for the microphone because I've told that's what we have to do. Oh, and you get...
I wondered if you could give us an update on Centennial Hall, any plans for improvements there?
Yes. So we are working, actually right now, I had a meeting with architects 2 weeks ago to talk about some Centennial Hall improvements. We'll have a plan that we hope to be introducing to the community by late fall about phase 1 of improvements to the hall and what we are doing. I'll be honest, Centennial Hall, to do it right, is going to cost us at least $300 million. Something you may not know is that next to hospitals, performing arts centers are the most expensive buildings to build, at about $1,600 a square foot. And that's to build. To renovate, it's even more expensive. If we were to build a new building that was capable of doing what we do with Centennial Hall, we're looking at about a $400 million project. So phase 1 will not be, most likely be doing all of that. As we know, we have a lot of work to do. We're going to have to do some bonding, get the state to join us in making some tough decisions and really investing in our community. But phase 1 will be some additions, bathrooms, lobby spaces, that kind of thing. Phase 2 then will be to make Centennial Hall the building that it really should have been made when it was built.
Hi, thanks for being here. So you showed a picture of this giant woman who's going to go across
Yes.
the United States. What is her message? Is it peace, Mexico? What is the message?
Yeah, so Little Amal is a 10-year-old girl from Syria, refugee from Syria. She'll be walking across the U.S. looking for her mother. there's a narrative that takes place throughout. So every city, it's going to be different. Her message here in Tucson is really getting to know children of Tucson. She's not a prop that comes in. So it's not like, oh, there's a mall, but it's really interacting with them all. So the first thing that we'll be doing with them all is, as I mentioned, a land blessing on Tumamoc Hill with local tribal children, and getting to know that community. We'll then be moving to South Tucson, where she'll be sharing breakfast and song with some kids there. From there, going to the Children's Museum for a day of play at the Children's Museum. From there, going to the Fan Fiesta at the university, meeting the scientists behind Osiris Rex, getting to welcome the football team as they get off the bus, and then joining them on field. So that's what she'll be doing here in Tucson. But it's really a little girl looking for and building her community.
Any other questions? I have time for one more question.
Thank you, Dan. I love the approach that you're taking, and the involvement of community and the breadth of scope of what you're doing is fabulous. Going back to your comments about Centennial Hall, will possibly acoustics, which are dreadful there, is that perhaps on the first phase?
Actually, acoustics, we continue, and Centennial Hall has, believe it or not, the acoustics in Centennial Hall, if done right, or if the sound person is there doing them right, they're really good. The challenge with Centennial Hall that we have, and the perception that Centennial Hall has, is that we have these road shows coming in, whether it be Broadway or some of these big musicians coming in, and the sound engineer is there, doesn't spend enough time getting to know the building. We are investing, we just made a $500,000 investment in Centennial Hall in the sound system this summer, in trying to make that better. We continue to work with sound engineers that are coming in. Fortunately, or unfortunately, because of COVID and the way the industry has changed, there are fewer sound engineers on the road right now with Broadway shows, so more of them have been to Centennial Hall, so things are sounding better. And we're, I think, hopeful that we can continue to get people to really make sure that we can all hear what we should be hearing in the building.
Second part of that question, with Centennial Hall, are you still working with Ticketmaster, through Ticketmaster?
We have a contract with Ticketmaster that goes for at least one more year.
Because the challenge that infuriates me is that the day of, prices go up exponentially for any tickets that are left just before, and I don't think you get the money. They do.
We don't, and you know, we could spend a couple of days talking about Ticketmaster. In fact, if you've watched any of the congressional hearings, you've seen that our lawmakers have spent more than that talking about Ticketmaster over the last couple months. Ticketmaster doesn't always see it. It's third-party resellers that do. What I would encourage you all to do when you're buying tickets, whether it be for Arizona Arts Live or things that are happening at Centennial Hall, or here at the Linda Ronstadt Hall, or within the convention center here, or the Rialto, and I'm going through all of our Ticketmaster, the Symphony, all of our Ticketmaster, or all Ticketmaster clients here in Southern Arizona, is make sure you're buying directly through their website. It was an absolute crime last year when I was sitting at a performance in the Rialto and heard somebody behind me say that they spent $480 for their tickets when the most expensive ticket we were selling was $40. And it's because they bought from a third-party reseller and not through us or the Rialto itself. So one of the ways you're going to save money is buying directly through the organization. We don't see any different money for that, but you're going to know that you're buying actually at least the ticketed dollar amount. Cool.
Sorry, I just heard somebody's alarm go off and I was wondering what it was. Any more questions? Absolutely, I'm thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. I have to make note that I noticed Nina's eyes light up when dance was on screen. I really did. And I must thank Michael for bringing this great speaker and the program committee. Thank you so much. And I know he is going to agree to give us all special seats on the mall on September the 9th. All right? So just approach him afterwards. I was going to personally, but I thought, all of us. Anyway, I want to say thank you, but also to let you know, and many of our guests do not know this, that as a thank you to the speaker, we will ask the speaker to sign this book, which then goes into our very own Tucson Make Way for Books library, of which David Lovett is the president of that organization. So thank you so very, very much. I can't tell you how excited I am by what you're bringing to the stage, literally. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
It's called Tiger Tempo, all about art and music, I'm sure. Before I go on to birthdays, I do want to make a particular note here that we have our Assistant District Governor with us, Anne Huber, and I'd like her to stand and wave to us all. And she's been extraordinarily helpful to me of late. I mean, every few minutes I'm emailing her, asking her a question. So she is here for all of us. So do note Anne Huber. She's been in this position before, but I do want to make you all be aware of who we have here today. Notable. Right. So now, also another aside, if I may. We are a global society, but our Rotary. Earlier on, I was having a chat with our guest speaker. He doesn't know this yet, but his father-in-law from New Zealand and my brother, who lives in Auckland, no doubt know each other. I mean, isn't that fabulous? That's us. That's Rotary. That's the world as it stands at the moment. And now I'll get on to birthdays, which is part of our routine. So I'd like to announce Conrad Plimpton. Here he is. He's got a birthday on August the 26th. He's been in finance. He is a philanthropist. And as always, we like to say something that nobody else knows about the person. In this case, he gave us about 4 things to say. But I thought most appropriate to today was that he does improv comedy on YouTube's Unscrewed Theatre. I think I've got that right, but how amazing. Nothing boring about philanthropy and dollars and so on. Unscrewed. So, Conrad, happy birthday.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be alive and to be able to see all of you. I'm turning 80, and I've beaten a lot of my friends who are no longer with me, so I like seeing all of you young people here. It's very enlivening. Thank you.
We are truly thrilled that you're here. Happy birthday. Oh, yeah, please, I'll get the gift in a minute, unless you want to say something about it. And we also have Jen Delaney up front as well. Jen also gave me several things to say about her that nobody else knows, but I pared one of them down to the fact that she's now a new woman. She's a new woman with a lot of ankle hardware, and she's missing a piece of her bone. I mean, I think we have to laugh at that, but I'm not so sure. But to the new woman, happy birthday. And her birthday is on August the 27th.
Hello, thank you very much. I would like to thank Ellie Patterson, who is my sponsor, and lovely lady, still love her very much. This is always very hard for me. Thank you very much, and yes, I fractured my ankle, I had ankle surgery, I had 2 surgeries, and that they took out a part of my bone, and I got lots of screws and plates. So anyway, thank you very much, and I will also leave you with one thing that hopefully will help Margaret's irritation. And this is, I learned something new, that you are no longer allowed to laugh out loud in Hawaii. Do you know that? You have to keep it to a low ha. All right, I'm done. So I do have a gift. I have a gift for Polio Plus. What's Batman's favorite fruit? Banana.
Perhaps the program committee can invest in you being up here on stage one time with more jokes. Fabulous. I've heard a lot about dad jokes of late, and is that the sort of thing, a dad joke or a mum joke?
Taking all our best material.
The terrible jokes, apparently. And now we have an introduction of two new members coming up. We have Waki. Oh, or do you want to do it from the stage with a microphone? Ah, good on you, Waki. Stand up so we can see you.
You're on.
Okay, 2 minutes, right? How do we do this? Okay. Is it? Oh, okay. Okay, this is my friend Ken. And I recruit him to be our member. He's very, we have a good asset with him to be our member. Ken originally comes from South Florida, where he grew up in Miami Beach and developed his love of the ocean. Seeking his own Western adventure, Ken left Florida after high school and moved to Texas, where he graduated for Tech University with the degrees of advertising and marketing. Ken discovered Tucson on a visit to the old Pueblo to attend Copper Bowl between Texas Tech and Air Force. He's been a desert lover since. Ken, he liked the Sonoran Desert, of course, and he's becoming lifelong desert dweller. Shortly after relocating to Tucson, he met his wife, Kendra. They have 3 daughters, the oldest one starting her sophomore year at University of Arkansas, and the 2 at home are both attending Wilson K-8. Professionally, Ken is a seasonal retail banking professional with a broad background in aspect of personal finance and small business banking with Compass Bank, Chase, and National Bank of America. Currently, Ken still works for National Bank of Arizona as branch manager and vice president. Would you please give a round of applause for my new friends being a member of that? And you can say.
Thank you, Waki. That was so nice of you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I really do appreciate all of you. The few meetings I've attended, Margaret, have been fantastic. I'm so thrilled to be a part of this community. Thank you.
We're absolutely delighted that you're with us. Thank you very, very much. And now we have Michael Guyman yet again. Here you go, Michael.
Hello again. So I guess should I go out here? All right. Stay there. Thank you, Jeff. I'm here to introduce new member, Nancy Younger. Yay, Nancy. Nancy is an insurance agent at Farm Bureau Financial Services. She also, and I remember her telling me at this one point, was with Skyline Assayers. So you also had a career in assaying. Yes. Very interesting and exciting. Nancy is very involved in the chamber, and she asked about Rotary one time. I said, yeah, you should join us. She came the very next time and has been very active since. So Nancy is someone who just, when she says something, she's going to do it, and she does it well. So thank you very much for all the hard work you do in this community, Nancy. The one thing that you may not know about her is that she hit a hole-in-one at the Benson Golf Course.
Yeah. And it went downhill after that. But I was pregnant. I was 5 months pregnant with my oldest daughter that's now 15th. So I couldn't jump up and down, so I'm kind of doing this side-by-side thing. snot-nosed engineer that was close by, he's like, "Oh, I thought you just made it to the green, and that's why you were so happy." But it was great. I do have to say a lot of good things about Michael. Michael, as you know, he's the president of the Chamber of Commerce, also involved there. He works his tail off. And I have a lot of respect for what you do and what you've accomplished in the team of people that you have. But this is about Rotary. Also, I'm impressed. Every single time I come to these lunches or get involved with anything, it's amazing, the stories and the backgrounds of everybody that's in this community. I haven't met all of you. Eventually, I hope to have the honor. But so far, every single time I come, I'm impressed and honored to be in your presence. So thank you all.
Again, it's absolutely fabulous to have you with us. Thank you so much. And it's nice to know that you're a doer. You say something and it's done. Thank you so much for those new member introductions. And now we have Dan Calm again with us, talking about raffles and exciting things.
Thank you very much. I did get you some medical advice. They said if you're irritable on medication, then when you go slap somebody, you should just yell mosquito. So I'm going to let Ann pick the ticket.
All right. Oh, you want me to do that? Okay. Last 3 digits or the whole thing? Your lucky number is 1776884. Does it go back in? Does it go back in?
And Conrad, would you, as a birthday guest, be willing to pick the card that's the winning card? 5 of diamonds. Still get a little cash.
Curtis, you can hear me? Right. He's our next president, and here he is, a winner already. Fabulous. We don't have any auction. We've just done the raffle. So we now go to announcements. The first one I want to mention is that I want us all to go to our own personal details on the website and update what we have on there. I do know that we have at least a few phone numbers for people that are out of date. And it gets a bit of a pain when you're calling them. Sorry, number's no longer in use. So please, can we all go to our personal details and update so that we can actually make contact with you? All right, email addresses, put them in your profile, update your phone numbers. Next is, I was tasked by Diana Madaras to let you all know that these car show shirts are for sale, and there are very, very few. So I was going to model it, but I'll just hold it up and wave it instead. Okay? So please, I believe she said something like only, no, surely not, 20 of them are on order? Anyway, get your order in with great speed, otherwise you will miss out on getting one. So please get those ordered in for the car show shirts. Next we have Dan, again. Oh, it's Lee next, sorry, we did change the order. Lee, it's you next, sorry. Dan, you'll have to wait, sorry. This is a car show update, and Lee is our wonderful chair.
Chop, chop, Lee.
I'm going to speak as fast as I possibly. I have quick updates for you. Some of you know, believe it or not, there's only 80 days until the Tucson Classics Car Show. So that's pretty quick. Information for you. One is in the back. Roger and Jeannie have tickets in the back if you wish to pick up packets. They're also collecting money and any ticket stubs you have. They also have Classic Club and business cards back there if you want some. So Jeannie, where are you? So see Jeannie for that information. We've sold about 4,200 tickets, which is about 13% of our goal, but that's that's about where we were, or better than last year. So we're on target for that. Where's the supplies? For the focus on the raffle tickets, we had a bunch of these self-standing signs made, so that don't stand up very well. That's all my time trying to stand up the sign. We have a few of these left for office counters and those kinds of things, so please take them. They don't do any good sitting in a box someplace, so there's those. And we have 3 or 4 different types of flyers that you can take, and you can leave them on a counter, also hand them to folks. But we're really trying to push up the raffle ticket sales now. So if you want more materials, there's some at the table back there, and I can also order additional supplies if you need them. And last but not least is one of the jobs, and I mentioned this to some of you, one of the jobs we have was what we call a fulfillment coordinator. That person tracks the sponsorships and then works with myself, Candy, and others to get those individuals the materials that they're entitled to as a function of being a sponsor. The club member who was doing that is no longer able to do that. So if one of you likes something that's more administrative and engaging that way, please let me know, because that's a really critical position. Okay? Any questions? Good. Okay. That's your...
Well, I did manage to put the shirt on and model it. So anybody who'd like to order one of these, please do so. Dan.
Okay, tonight we have the Whiskey Social at my house at 6 o'clock. I have room for about 6 more people. So if you find yourself with nothing to do and you'd like to kind of hang out on the west side and watch the sunset over the Tucson mountains, please feel free to come. Give me a call, RSVP, and we'll get that done for you.
Thank you, Dan. Bruce Richardson.
Hi, everybody. We've got a big hike coming up on Saturday. We'll be up Butterfly Point to Point on the top of the mountain, meeting and leaving at La Buzz on the east side, Tanque Verde, at 7 a.m.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for those energetic people amongst us. Cliff Bowman.
I'm over here with Dan.
Oh, there you are.
Hello,
Good to
President
see you
Margaret.
now. Hello.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago, Kathleen, my wife, and I, and welcomed our granddaughter and Charlotte Harris's great-granddaughter and future Rotarian, Violet Kathleen. She was born on the 7th of July, 9 pounds, 21 inches at St. Joe's Hospital. Her mother, that some of you probably know, Liz Baker Bowman, is doing great.
Fabulous.
Her father is doing like most first-time fathers, not so great, but getting better at it. So thank you, and welcome to Violet Kathleen Bowman. Thanks.
And Cliff, we do have a gift for you. Well, not quite for you, but for your new family member. I'll bring it down to you later on. Vicky Jacobs.
Hi. Okay. So believe it or not, I'm going to talk about March Madness for 2024. Thanks to the great work of Steve Pickering, Chuck Sawyer, and Art Alice, and Dorina, of course, we're off to a running start for next year. We're hoping to start planning meetings already. So if you have any advice or ideas for our committee, please let us know. Okay, and I wanted to let you know who was the elite team for March Madness. It's Jim Lubinsky, Alan Rogers, Jeff Ronstadt, and Steve Linger-Brink. Okay? Brandy and Michael Guyman are going to be in charge of our speakers for that time period. So, thank you, Michael. I think Brandy's here today. Let's see. And going forward, so far for coaches, we have Doug Lowe, Bobby Larson, Curtis Dawson, Rich Kinney Jr., and the Johnsons, Wally and Sandra. Alrighty, so if you're interested in being on the committee, or you have some ideas of where we might go for our second Wednesday, please let us know. Thank you.
Thanks, Vicky. And I want to give a shout out to Sandra and Wally because they've really... Raymond leapt into working and doing good things for Rotary. Sorry. Sandra, that's great. We've got Jeannie Zita coming on now and the exchange student.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm very excited today. If you could flick the next picture. If you could put the picture up, Canon Neckamer, who's right here behind me, arrived last Tuesday. That was her welcoming committee. That included Jim Bushnell and her host brother Noah to her left, and Jen Hoffman, Thomas Robertson, myself, and then Cindy Dooling, who is our district youth exchange chair, and her husband, John Dooling, were there to greet her. She arrived after going through 3 flights through 4 airports, and she was still smiling, which was wonderful. She's staying with the Bushnell family, and Jim and Mary Lou and their son Noah. I want to also point, and Jim is here if you want to stand up or shake. Raise your hand. And next to them at the table is Susie and Andy Voss, and they are her non-Rotarian resource people. They have a home both here and in Japan, because Andy does part of his work with Raytheon in Japan, and so they will be a resource for her, which we're very excited about. I want to just say that if you would like to do activities with her, if you maybe let me know and we'll try to build it into the schedule. You all have my contact information and Club Runner, and you maybe noticed on the table there's the flyer. If you want to recruit people to be outbound exchange students, they have until October 15th to enroll and sign the application. So now I'm going to turn it over to Cannon, who will tell you a little bit about herself, and if there's time, we have a video. It's the 3-minute video. We'll see. All right, Cannon, you get to go up and right up to the microphone.
Okay. Really close. Hello. My name is Kanan Nakamura. I'm 70 years old. I am from Tottori, Japan. I arrived in Tucson on 25 July. My host family is Jimmy, Mary Lou, and Noah Bushnell. They are so kind. We went to camping last weekend in northern Arizona. It was so fun. I'll be going to Ironwood Ridge High School. Oh, thank you for listening. Thank you.
Welcome indeed. And the video perhaps we can show at another meeting. It's 3 minutes long and we don't quite have time for it today. But it was lovely of you to speak into the microphone, Canon. Thank you so much. Before I wrap up, I just want to ask both Gant and Nancy to stay behind because we want to take photographs with you and we have a package to give you and a couple of glasses that are inscribed for Rotary. So please stay at the end of the meeting and we can do that. So I want to thank all of you all for coming and the virtual guests also for coming today. And I hope you enjoyed the meeting. I know that I did, and I'm thoroughly, thoroughly energized by the thought of all of the arts shows that are coming to town. I'm thrilled. I want to welcome all of the guests that were here today. I want to remind you to donate to the scholarships. They're the blue cups on there, the scholarship cups. Please donate if you can. I want to say happy birthday to Conrad, to Jean. I want to say thank you to Anne for coming here. It was fabulous to see her. Welcome to Gant and Nancy. Welcome to Cannon. That was that was the best, Cannon. Thank you. And thanks all to the Bushnells for hosting. Now, I believe that you're not related to Ace Bushnell, who is legend. He also introduced me to Rotary. So thank you anyway for the work that you're doing. Now, next week, there is no meeting, no formal meeting such as this one. Bruce, I believe, is trying to set up a Zoom meeting with a speaker. You'll receive more information about that in the near future. And then after that, at the next meeting we have, and this is going to be fabulous, we have Don Guerra of Barrio Bread, our own local Beard, Roger Beard, James Beard award-winning baker person here. He lives in Tucson, and he's going to talk about community supporting baking. Who's tried his bread? Yay, fabulous. Well, come and hear the man speak. And it's now time to toast and adjourn. I invite you to stand up. And actually, I wrote this toast last night, and then given some of the language today, I'm not quite sure that it's appropriate. But what it does say is, without art, the crudeness of reality would make the world unbearable. So, the meeting has ended. Thank you all very much for being such a good audience, and thanks for a great speaker.